other instructor is angry because we always come late. I know I'm not angry, but we just keep waiting like this. Look, it's almost like 15 now. Tell him that we need to be there. Next time instructor says if you don't come 11, I will not allow you in the class. Yeah, I will still allow, but at least it's happening every class, okay? Okay, so I keep going back to the first thing that I always ask. The course has two parts, right? The first part was data collection and organization, right? What is the second part? Data use, right? So this part we are starting the data use part. So we are done with data collection and management, okay? Yeah, So we are starting, as I said, we are starting the second part, data use part. So data collection was and organization management was the first part, right? As I said, there's like always two components to this course, right? So we are starting the second part, which is the data use part. Because we are starting the data use part, so we will be talking about the early initial elements of data use, okay? So still not the most advanced one, but very interesting ones. What we will discuss today is something that is heavily used in market. Market meaning that all the companies. You will not find a company that these days any modern company is not talking about what we will discuss today. Okay, so today we will be talking about something called business reporting. Okay, and this business reporting is not what you understand in terms of creating reports in business communication. So we are not talking about that, right? Formatting and title page and bullet points and all those things. Okay, we are talking in terms of business intelligence, right? So we are not talking about those formats or other things, but we will be talking about something else. Okay, so this is called business reports, and in the context of business reporting, we will be talking about a new emerging field called visualization, data visualization. Okay, so we will touch upon it. Your batch is a little unlucky in the sense that he was asking me about it, that after your batch, another batch, and then we have a new program. In those programs, we have even full courses on something called data visualization and so on. But inshallah, you will be able to catch yourself. But let me start talking about that. So, data use, from the use perspective, we will be talking about what do we mean by business reporting. Okay, we need to understand about business reporting in the context of our course. Okay, so and then especially in that context, a major part of that modern BI reports, we will be talking about something called visualization. Okay, so inshallah we will start talking. The rest of the thing inshallah we'll cover in the next class. So let us just continue. I'm going to skip the case discussed. So report. So whenever in businesses a report is asked, for example, you have a boss and the business a report is asked. So what is the purpose of that report? Understanding that purpose is very, very important, right? Businesses, being a manager, the most important one way to describe the role of manager is decision making, right? So to make a decision, a business manager asks, meaning that the manager is struggling to make a decision and that manager is needing certain important knowledge to take that decision, right? This is a very simple thing, right? Not very hard to comprehend, right? So a business, the most important role of a manager is to take decision, and if a manager is struggling to take a decision, the manager may ask you to find certain things that will help him or her to take that decision. So what is that thing? That thing is some sort of an information, right? So report, as I said, it's not a business communication report about format. So it is about what information is needed so that that particular decision can be taken. This decision could be financial decision, this decision could be supply chain decision, marketing decision, or another decision, right? So if you understand this fundamental idea, then you need to know where your focus should lie. Your focus should lie on answering questions, not just formatting it in a particular way, right? You understand the difference between the two courses, right? There the focus was on how it should look and feel. Here it is all about what it should contain, okay? So you need to know what decision has to be taken. In order to take that decision, what information is needed, right? So that is the main point. So a report is any communication or an artifact prepared to convey specific information, okay? Whether the aim could be decisions related to functioning of departments, regular, right? It could be analyzing a problem, a situation, right? You have a problem that you continuously face, so you might want to analyze that thing, right? So it could be a report on that. It could be even to persuade people. Look, we need to change our direction of business. So how am I going to convince someone? I can use that a certain kind of an information to show that, look, customer behavior is changing. You have taken consumer behavior course, maybe not, but things like that, right? So you may want to share information showing that change, right? Or it could be even something what you call organizational memory. What is organizational memory? There's something called knowledge management. We used to offer a course called knowledge management here, but many times organizations face a problem and then they learn, and then they want to keep this knowledge so that next time that problem comes, people don't have to start learning from zero. You understand that part? So knowledge has to be kept somewhere, because if you lose that knowledge, maybe another person is now on that seat, and that problem comes up again. And in many organizations, what they do, they try to, as they say, reinvent the wheel. Meaning that, yes.
I think because of that, you need that warehousing.
That's the point we are trying to make. So some of those reports are not just for decision making, but future decision making as well. And this is called organizational memory. Sometimes you keep those reports so that if there's someone new comes in, that person can make use of that report. Okay? So reports are very valuable in companies because of all those things. Current decision making, analyzing different scenarios, and even for future decision making. So if you understand this basis, so let's just go a step further. How reports are being generated and how reports are being used in any typical businesses. So we already know that it is a document that contains information regarding particular business matters, and of course the purpose I already discussed is to improve decision making. But when we said you're looking for information, the question is, where is my information? We have been discussing that in past few classes. You remember, we are trying to organize and manage the information. So information is in there, right? So that is why your source of information are all those things. Where you may have to go in there, you have to extract information, transform, and prepare. Format is like management 301, 302, whatever those courses were, business communication, and even distribution. But this is where you need to understand the role of how reports are fitting in. So you acquire data, you convert that into something called an information, you make decision, and then you improve or manage your process so it may be easier to understand it like this. So you are running a business, you have certain inputs in your businesses going on, and then you're producing something, and then this is like the output of your process, okay? But you want to know what's going on, so you're trying to store it there, and this is what we have been discussing. Do you remember online transaction processing systems, ERPs, and right? And from there we said we wanted to store that in a data warehouse, and then my boss says what's going on, so I have to produce a report, and based on that the boss will try to solve a problem and take action. But you can see that it's a continuous process, right? You produce more data, you produce new actions, and then you have to keep going like this, right? So remember the role of report. You take the report out, where is your decision making? It's hanging in here, meaning that it is baseless, meaning that you just leave it to so-called experience and whatever is in your head, right? So the business reporting, that's why has become so important, because it becomes very precise, accurate, and more insightful. Not just like I'm a very special person, I can keep everything in my head. Okay? So and it becomes systematic, not person dependent. So in that case, the report must be focused on something. Now in our courses, we ask you to write reports, and the question that I hear is how many pages do we have to write? And I keep telling them that I don't care about number of pages. Because number of pages, maybe in business communication, because you're learning to write, they are concerned with writing more. But in modern businesses, they are not concerned about writing more. They are, in fact, one of the things they are asking is to write short. And they call it brevity. Brevity means right to the point. I need to take a decision. I don't have time to read 20 pages. You understand that? What they are looking for is not your writing skills. What they are concerned is with getting the information they need to take that decision. Right? Everybody understand that? And then it means that what you're writing has to be clear. It has to reveal that information in the right way, and then information has to be complete, and then information has to be correct. You remember the example I was giving about accident data? We are collected from Ministry of Interior and Police and Red Crescent, and we started doing analysis, and later we realized that there was data duplication and there was like wrong entries and everything, right? It means that whatever then ministry will take decision will be based on our analysis, which was all wrong, right? So the implications are huge. So that is why it's very important to spend time on these two parts. That's why all good managers, they first ask questions to ensure these things. What you bring, is it like, have you made sure that you covered everything? Have you made sure that you did this to check? Have you did this to check that data is correct, right? So correctness. And then the rest are there. It could be an informal report, a single letter or a memo, meaning that my dean asked me that, okay, what's going on with how many students have to retake the course because they were unable to pass the course. So it could be just a table. This is called like an informal ad hoc report. So we sometimes went into SIS, we quickly process the data and say, look, this course, these students have to repeat this course, and these number of students have to repeat. So it could be informal report. It could be the ones that you're used to writing in projects. More formal one, cover page summary, but it might be going to many people and long term and strategic kind of information. Or it could be periodic reports like what you produce every week or every month. It could be even investigative report where you're analyzing for a problem. So these are usually ad hoc reports, okay? This case is just to show you that BI is helping you do that. In what way? You see, we talked about completeness and correctness. So they were facing a huge problem in terms of correctness and completeness, and with BI, they were able to improve the accuracy and efficiency of the report, right? So it was just that. So one of the key features in modern BI related reports is what you call metric management. Metric management is I'm talking about those metrics like KPIs, right? From your strategic management courses. So many times managers want to see how you're doing in a certain area. So it could be what you call matrix management report. Same thing, this is called KPI for internal, SLA service level agreements for the external ones. Now, one of the things that is changing these days with BI, you remember we keep talking about real time, is that one of the big changes that are happening, especially since last 5 years, is that these reports are no more like the reports that you're used to. Meaning that you type, you print it, you take it to a place where you could bind it and submit, right?
Yeah.
These reports are what you call becoming live reports, dynamic live reports. Meaning that you're not, when you see report, you think of papers and pages, right? These are real data on screen, dynamic. So they are like changing as you're watching even, right? They are dynamic, they are interactive, and they are live. Meaning that you create a report that updates by itself. This is where BI comes in, in terms of report. Everybody can understand that? So from that sense, a keyword that has become a key to all businesses is what you call
Dashboard.
a dashboard. Is like the modern name for those live reports. Okay, so many of the, as I told you, many of our students that they go out, they are even asked to produce dashboards, which means that they are asked to create those live reports. So they create those live reports. This is where one of the things that has becoming very important is what you call, you put the data not in words but in graphical forms. So this is where visualization has certainly become very important to all companies, because you want to see not text, you want to see like simple, you remember simple clarity and all those things that I said. So visualization is becoming very important. And then balance scorecard could be another type, but this is where we'll go. Step by step we'll try to step in. And today I will have like a small informal assignment, meaning it will not be graded, but something that will really be helpful for you in your future careers. Okay, so I will definitely talk about that inshallah later. But to produce dynamic live reports, what do you need to have behind, right? If you need to have live report, it means you need to have access to data, and then before that you need to have the data stored somewhere, right? So you can imagine if I need to ask you, so what is the infrastructure you need to produce live report? I think you should be able to understand. That's what we are talking about, right? Like you need to have an OLTP, online transaction processing, point of sale, ERP, supply chain, all that thing that we were discussing in the last few lectures. Without this, you cannot have live reports, because this is the basis of creating the live reports. And then once you have that system, then you can talk about few things. How quickly my report is being updated. Is it updated like on daily basis, or is it like truly live, real time? As something happens, the report is updated. Variety means what variety of information is appearing on my screen, okay? And then, of course, the volume. I think, to make this work, you already know that we have to extract information, transform and load. But this is where I'll talk a little bit more, okay? And this is where maybe I'll ask you to do something today, which you will bring in the next class, okay? Nothing formal, you don't have to work, you just have to go and search and bring so that we can discuss in the class, okay? Storages, business logic is a very important thing. Why? Because all these things are designed to solve a problem. You remember, although this is easiest to say but hardest to do. The information is supporting a particular decision. I said you should be saying this should be obvious, right? But as it turns out that this is the least obvious thing in real world. People try to create solutions not thinking about that it is designed to solve what problem. They get lost in fanciness and everything, and then the manager says, where is my information? You understand what I'm saying? So although it is the simplest thing but hardest to remember, business logic, need to know why am I doing that. Okay, and of course the medium, meaning that where you're putting it on web or on a desktop system, assurance is about quality. Okay, again a case we can skip. So let me ask you the difference between data and information. I think you may have talked about that in one of the courses. Yes.
The information is a knowledge, whereas the data is, like raw data, like raw information. You cannot extract anything from it.
Yeah, almost there. Any other views? Any other views?
Data is like raw material information. After you collect it, become knowledge and information.
Okay. Data itself is the knowledge, right? The only thing is that it is in a form that is hard to read. Right? So what you're saying is, the processing required is just to convert that into a form which becomes easy for us to read.
Yes.
You remember I showed you an Excel file?
Yes.
And I just changed its form from that Excel column to a graph.
Yes.
So, because then that graph is easy for us to read. Information should tell you something. Data may not be able to tell you something immediately. Right? So that is the difference. So, data these days is not just information, but a lot of things that is happening these days is information visualization, because visualization is usually, as it is turning out, is the best form of revealing facts about what is going on. Okay, so that is why it's not just information these days, it is information visualization. So this has its data, or some people by the way call it data visualization as well, but the meant is the same thing, information visualization. Okay, so the use of visual representation to explore, to make sense and communicate. So make sense and communicate the data is where visualization is coming into play. So when you talk about information, normally what kind of processes are you doing? You're doing some sort of aggregation, you're doing some sort of summarization, or you're contextualizing the data. What does contextualizing means?
From
Put that-
context.
yeah?
From context.
Put them in the right context. For example, if my sale is going up and then it's coming down, okay, fine, even if I put that in a graph, I cannot see. But if I just put the dates, like some winter sales going up and summer sales coming down, now I've put the context, right? So sometimes this will reveal the problems, so contextualization. It could be like area, could be a contextualization, right? It could be Eastern Province or Western Province, right? So you need to give more information about the information. Okay. So when it comes to in visualization, we start to think about these things, right? Charts, graphs, and illustrations. But the thing that is happening these days is that when you think about charts and graphs, you maybe right now what's coming to your mind? Excel, right? And bar charts and line charts. Even 5-10 years ago, this was only the thing. But now, as I told you, the reports have gone through a change. Not just paper reports, they are becoming live, dynamic. So visualization are also going through a big change, where they are no more like simple graphs and charts. They are dynamic, they are interactive, and there are lots of things you can do with visualization, which means that the more sophisticated the visualization, the more you are able to do. And there's even something called storytelling, meaning that companies are using a concept called storytelling, which uses very sophisticated visualization to, I'm sure you have seen those animated even visualized, right? Over the period, how things have progressed, the teams have progressed, and so on. So we are talking about those very more advanced visualizations. Okay. So this is where you are asking me about Power BI. So I need to tell you something here. This visualization is the hottest cake these days in all companies, right? So advanced analytics maybe still not everyone is doing. So You talk to me about Power BI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about a software called Tableau?
Yes.
Tableaus?
Tableau.
Ah, Tableau. No.
Then there is another one called Alteryx. Maybe not.
Yeah.
These two are in Saudi market one of the leading ones. Power BI is there, but Power BI is seen as like for smaller companies.
Oh, okay.
But the bigger companies, the bigger market share is with Tableau and Alteryx,
Oh.
and they are like neck to neck. They are big, but those two softwares have their own strengths and weaknesses. Now, if you go to your job, many times if you go, for example, secure a job in Aramco, they may ask you eventually to please learn Tableau, right? Yes.
But Doctor, the big companies like Aramco or SABIC, I think they have their own BIs.
Department to department, it's varying quite hugely. It's not like Aramco means like everyone is doing the same thing, right?
Yes.
But I'm telling you, after talking to people, that some they say we are using Tableau, some say we are using Alteryx, some say we are using both.
It's
Okay.
based on the task that they have.
Based on the task, their own department, they have their own decisions and they are doing, right. But they are using even SAP-based visualization tools, right. But the thing that I'm trying to convey to you is that because Tableau and Alteryx are market leaders, so you will get a real edge if you try to learn something about Tableau and Alteryx. Why? Because what Excel can do, Tableau can do. What Excel cannot do, Alteryx can do.
We will learn about Tableau and.
What I'm trying to tell you is that these softwares are very good in helping you learn this software and get certifications.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to ask you a small task. I'm going to ask you to maybe like whichever software you like. I'm going to ask you to explore me a few questions. Okay, Tableau, what is it good at? Why people are picking Tableau for certain things? Okay, I'll tell you for small hint. For example, in visualization, Tableau is considered the leader. But in data processing, leading to those graphs and charts, Alteryx is better.
Okay.
Right, so sometimes that's why I say some people who I talk to in Aramco corporate planning, they say we are using Alteryx to prepare the data and then we are using Tableau to do the visualization.
And Power BI, the less level, lower level?
Normally when I talk to people, the Power BI is used by smaller companies. It's like, you're comparing Oracle with a lower level database software. So
Oh.
normally Alteryx and Tableau is like Oracle
Okay,
combined
okay.
database. Right? So
Leader.
they are the leaders.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Now I want you to discover it. But what I will do to you is to help you just get to know what this software is. I will of course talk more about it, but our master students, so one of the tasks we gave them is to prepare tutorials for Alteryx and Tableau. So they have prepared this. I can share those. I will share this on our WhatsApp group. Okay. But what I want you to do is to motivate you to please during summer, because you still have 4th year, pick a software you like. You like Tableau more, pick Tableau. If you want Alteryx more, pick Alteryx. 2-3 months you can go from like Alteryx have like level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 certification and 5, 6, 7. They go up. I don't know how far they go.
What you recommend for us?
That's a difficult question to answer. Both are negative, but I personally like Alteryx more. Both are equally good. In terms of job wise, Tableau is a little ahead because Alteryx is not used by everyone. It is there, but Tableau is more popular.
Oh.
But I personally like Alteryx, but I'll tell you where Alteryx is very strong.
So, Alteryx stronger than Tableau?
Tableau is strong in one part, Alteryx is strong in another part.
Okay, so I will choose both.
I want you to find where each one is strong. I want you to do comparison. I want you to learn.
Can we
Number one.
Can we choose both to
Why
get?
not? If you have time, learn both.
Mhm.
Okay. But I want you to answer 2 questions. During the summer, if I want you to do certification, give me a plan. For Tableau, what should I do? You understand my question?
Mhm.
I want you to tell me. Okay. Secondly, I want you to work together, as a group, whatever. Alteryx, tell me, what do I need to do to learn Alteryx during summer? Okay? But I can assure you, if you want to pick that plan, and you cannot become Alteryx level 1 expert or something, but you go through at least the basic levels, it will be a huge advantage for you during your job interviews. Yes?
What does this mean? Clean up the data.
Clean up the data?
Yeah.
Okay, data cleaning we talked about last time as well, so let me tell you. You remember I said that data had some errors in our accident data?
Yeah.
Age was wrong, duplication was
I
there.
mean incorrectness.
These softwares are capable of picking up many of those errors by themselves. For us, we were doing that in Excel, that particular data. So we had to 10,000 results and we had to use our own Excel tricks to identify those errors. But these softwares are using AI powered and all those things. They are able to do those things in a much better way. Very powerful tools. And I'll show you how they work a little. Not like a live demo, but conceptually how they work. Okay. So you understand the task. I want you to know more about Tableau so that if you're talking to someone about somebody asks, okay, what is Tableau? Have you ever used? Do you know what Tableau is? And I don't want you to have blank faces, during your interviews. Okay? Or any other software, any other alternative. So I want you to have enough knowledge so that you can catch a interviewer's attention. Okay? And ideally, if you can take a little bit of a certification that you can put on table, that would be, a big plus. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
But from where can we?
these companies are so good. They are ahead of rest. They are asking you to free teaching materials, free training, free exercises,
Yeah.
free competitions, free this, free that. Especially Alteryx is like.
Can you share them to us?
I want you to find. That's what I'm asking you to find. Give me a track. I can share, not now, but I want you to first look for it.
Okay.
Okay. But what I can share with you is a same exercise our master's student went, but we didn't ask them to just explore. We actually asked them to not just explore but learn and prepare to show that they have learned. For example, or we asked them to prepare a solution manual for people who would like to learn. So this is actually done by one of our this is done by our master's students here. Can you see Alteryx training manual?
Yeah. All.
I removed their names, but so it is like you can learn how Alteryx work. You can even download Alteryx free for use, and you can use this to learn basic Alteryx even.
I will also search about them on YouTube.
Yeah. So there is a YouTube brilliant 2, 3, 3, 4 hour tutorials on Tableau and Alteryx. Okay, but you understand the task here, everyone. Okay, so that is why Tableau is mentioned everywhere. Every second slide you'll see Tableau because it's the leader.
Mhm.
Okay, so Tableau saves thousands of dollars by simplifying information sharing, and the main idea is that this is where data visualization is starting, because Tableau is like the leader in data visualization. Very, very powerful visualizations. Okay. By the way, just it's not a harm to talk about a little bit about history, but this is referred to as one of the earliest graphs. When people started thinking about why don't we put information on graphs and charts. And I like this chart because it shows compare the imports and exports for England. And you can see that imports were above, but here the exports go up. But what do you notice here? Visualization is about lines, colors, labels. The more effectively you know what elements are important in visualization, the more you can convert data into a visualization. 1800s, a lot of very nicely done. Whoever was there, because without any knowledge of graphs and charts, that person did a brilliant job. Another example, but that's not the point. Eventually you would find things like these, right? The real thing is that when you need to learn more about visualization is how to use all that knowledge about colors, value scales, labeling, in an effective way. So it's not like I pick an Excel graph and show. There's something called storytelling, and people are even choice of colors and labels, and those things are making a big difference in reading about it. But that was since 2000. Now things are becoming more. Of course, as people are learning more about visualization, the modern visualization has gone beyond graphs and charts. Interactive, animated information, dynamic. Can you see those comparison of countries where graphs are moving like
Yeah, it's like a bar.
bars going up and down?
Yeah.
Animated visualizations, 3D visualizations, rendering virtual worlds, real-time data feed, and so on. So all those things are part of that. Now it means that for you, where do you start? You start with the basic graphs and charts. But the question is, I want you to take at least one step from here. Although it's not a visualization course, but when you have such an option, you should ask yourself first question, which graph is designed for what purpose? Some graphs are suitable for certain kinds of a job, but other graphs are suitable for other kinds of job. And because one graph was not suitable to depict a particular kind of an information, that is why people came up with the other kind of a graph. For example, histogram. Histogram is designed for a particular purpose. I'm sure you have taken the stats course, right? Frequency distribution, right? Pareto pie chart. Maybe you have percentage to shares and so on, right? So I'm going to just quickly mention some graphs which will tell you that you know line, bar, pie, maybe you're using all of them, right? But let me at least show you how some of those more advanced graphs are helping you with. Line chart are drawn based on two dimensions, right? X versus Y. You're all doing that since your school times. But it means that you only have two information. One is on X, on Y, but I need 4 information to show. So what can I do on the same graph? 4 informations. So maybe one of the choices you can find is called a bubble chart. So you have time as one information on x-axis. For example, in this particular life expectancy on another chart, color shows you geographic region, right? Third information. Fourth information is
How big is it?
the size of the circle, size of the bubble, right? Which is telling you about the size of the population.
The size and importance?
It could be importance. The fourth information. But can you see that 4 information shown on a simple chart, right? So again, people have started to develop concepts like that, like quadrant chart, categorize, grouping the data, grouping of data, not just grouping, but how far or how deep that in a particular group, right? So I want, if you're struggling with what chart is suitable for my task, I'm going to upload it again because this slide wasn't there. There are charts suggested for the sake of what you call comparison. If you're comparing data, if you have to compare to countries, compare to companies, right? These like bar graph, dot plot, ID plot, heat map. Have you seen heat map before?
Yes.
So maybe these are like the good choices if you're doing comparison. But if you're doing composition, chemical composition and different things mixing up, then pie chart, Pareto chart, multi-dimensional pie chart, distribution, box plot, histogram, relationships, scatter plot, and so on. So there are even guidelines there. Don't just randomly pick. If you're not sure, see. Just search that for this particular purpose. What is the best chart used there? Okay. Now I told you that for visual analytics, see what is the first name here. First name is still Tableau. There is a reason why Tableau keeps popping up, because it's the best in visualization. Okay, one of the best. But after Tableau, all those big companies they have started to follow. Like SAP has visual intelligence, SAS has visual analytics, so they have their own like module. Microsoft has Power Pivot and charts and Cognos Insights and so on. So the idea is, people are falling behind, so all companies are responding to develop their own visualization. Okay. And of course, visualization, by the way, is helping in both descriptive and predictive analytics. So let me give you a little idea of how these softwares are working. Okay, and then I'm going to, the tutorial that I will share with you on analytics is showing you step by step for this in Alteryx. So if you want to do the same in Alteryx, you can actually follow the tutorial and you can learn how to do it in Alteryx. By the way, Alteryx is free for academic use. So I think Tableau is also free for academic use. So you can download and you can easily learn both the software. So I want you to look at this closely. Each of these softwares will always have, whether you talk about Tableau or Alteryx, they will always start with what is called data builder, but they may have different names. But what do you see here? Those relationships and DBM tables, right? So you cannot do visualization without your data. So these softwares are not containing data. Tableau is not containing data. Alteryx is not containing data. So where is my data? The data is in my databases or data warehouses. So these softwares are very good in making direct connection to various sources, even in Excel, CSV files, databases, Oracle databases, SQL, whatever. And they build data, join data from multiple sources. And then you mentioned about cleaning.
Yes.
You can do loading, cleaning, and all those things by these software in a very, very easy way. And then, of course, you have to load, unload, and there's something in between. But what is important here is there are different things that after that you can do. You can perform an analysis on an ad hoc basis, which means that you're just exploring the data, you want different kind of visualization, ad hoc report analysis. Or one of the things you can do is to develop what is called dashboard. By the way, within Excel you can create dashboards. Dashboards are, as I told you, dynamic reports which are live, the data is being updated, and it gives you all the information you need through nice visualization and numbers. Okay, so you can actually, they always have something called a designer element where you can create what you call a dashboard. Alteryx, even in this tutorial, they will show you, how to create an Alteryx dashboard. Okay, and then even most modern ones are even helping you create dashboards not just on desktop but on mobile computers, because many times your bosses are moving and they want to see it here, not just there. So if you're doing the same thing, this is by a software called SAS, which is, I don't think a lot here has a big presence here in Saudi Arabia, but a very good software. But if you're talking about the same in Alteryx, for example, Alteryx spelling is, by the way, Alteryx, so it looks completely different. So, have you done any time something called visual programming?
Oh.
Visual programming, normally you write code. Visual programming is like icons you drag and drop, and you connect them. So you don't have to write codes. The code is written behind. So you double click on any one of the icons and you just have to you just have to configure it, as they say. You just have to put the right things inside, like fill in the blanks. Okay, so it is very, very easy. But it goes like this in Alteryx. So if I have to do an analysis, which by the way we did here in CB as well, we are facing certain problems about student data. So we created this solution like this in Alteryx. We're getting the data, processing the data, cleaning the data, and creating final reports. It took us like half an hour to create this solution for a lot of data coming in. We tried to do the same thing in Excel. It took us like a week. So very powerful software, very, very, very powerful software. And that is why they are so popular in industry, because they are very productive, very efficient. Okay, so I'm going to stop now, but you understand what we will do next class. First thing, I want you to tell me about Tableau. What it is used for, what it is good at. If I need to learn about Tableau and I want you to get certification so that I get recognized in the market, what is the track? What should I do? Maybe is it like free training, paid training, certifications, how many levels, right? So between yourselves, I want you to distribute maybe, or whatever you like. Yes.
Can I choose all six?
Yeah, why not? Whatever you like.
Okay.
I personally like Alteryx more, but I can tell you Alteryx data handling is unparalleled. You know, the way you can handle data, preparing the data is very superior than much superior than Tableau. But Tableau, people like it because it is maybe a little easier to learn in the beginning, and as they say that its graphs and charts are more better.
I will learn both then. خلاص.
That's what people do, because just doing visualization in Tableau is very easy. So if your data is prepared, making graphs in Tableau is very easy. So, for example, the people I know in Aramco, they are actually using both. They are using preparing data in Alteryx, and they are using Tableau for certain visualizations. Okay. So, inshallah, hopefully, I will be able to hear good things from you, inshallah, in the next class. Okay. But after that, I don't want you to leave it. I want you to pursue a certification in any software you like. Okay. So that's what you are asking me. So I said, please wait, because you are asking about Power BI. So I hope after looking at it, you may want to pursue something else. Okay. I'm not saying Power BI is bad, by the way. It is just the scale and the level of. It's like you're comparing a smaller software with a bigger one. Okay. So they are used by much bigger companies, much bigger data, and so on. Okay. So anything else? Any questions so far? So we will inshallah meet next class. So for the quiz, can you just suggest